I will get started. Good evening, Madam Intan, and thank you so much for joining us for today's interview session. We are so happy that you could be with us. And before we get started, let us introduce ourselves. My name is Farah, alongside with my partner.
My name is FARHANA, but you can call me Aina for short.
Okay.
We are English communication students from College Professional Maraseri Iskandar Perak, and today we are going to conduct an interview session with you in conjunction of our Pragmatics in Intercultural Communication assignment. Alright, so let's get started. Can you introduce yourself and a little bit about your background?
Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me into your discussion for your coursework. My name is Puan Intan. Intan Isma binti Munir. You can call me Puan Intan or just whatever that you feel comfortable calling me. So I've been teaching in the current school, Royal Military College, for the past 22 years. And I am an English teacher for now, yes.
Alright, moving on to the next question. Have you noticed a unique communication style emerging in your diverse workplace? Could you share that unique communication style with us?
All right. As you know, I am currently working in the military background, whereby we have, I would say, it's unique in the sense that I'm working with military personnel, and at the same time, okay, we also have these civilian workers, such as teachers, staff, okay, and those people working in the office. I would call that unique. So if you were to ask me, okay, that kind of style emerging diverse workplace, I would say yes. But at the same time, we also, I would say that in my place, at my working place, we experience, I would say, two category actually, passive communication and assertive communication. Okay, in terms of passive communication, in the sense that if let's say we have certain conflict among ourselves, okay, we try to avoid from being too verbal, because working in the military ground, okay, we have to be careful in terms of what we say. We have to be respectful towards others. So at the end of the day, it become a passive communication. So that is how we try to avoid conflict between us. Okay, this is not like working in the normal school, because my school, we sort of like having two different background, military and also the civilian. So basically, I would say the first one would be the passive communication in order to avoid conflict that might arise if we were to be too verbal. Another communication I would say is assertive communication at my working place. I would say it would be the most effective way, because having two different background, okay, we'll try to express our needs, okay, and then respect each other, and we try to understand those people. They have to understand us, and we have to understand their needs. So at the end, it will become a win-win situation for all of us in the working environment. So it become a healthy environment for everyone in the school. Okay, so that would be my opinion in terms of the emerging diverse, working, communication. Thank you.
Alright, I see you did mention that you currently working with civilians worker. So my next question is, do you think this communication style help foster better teamwork or just possess new challenges for you?
I would say that challenges is always there when it comes to working together, because sometimes, okay, we do have a certain miscommunication, but we always try our best to embrace, okay, the understanding, okay, and then the understanding can be quite challenging because their needs might be different from ours, okay, and then the way they do things might be different. Okay, at certain times we do encounter problems, okay, and maybe difficulties, okay, but we'll try as much as possible to sit down together and understand, okay, the predicament that might happen among us. I would say that communication would be the most important thing when we work in a different environment. Okay, having the military personnel and having all these civilian working together. So basically, we need to collaborate effectively if we want to have or produce that kind of healthy environment. Okay, and then I would say respect each other in terms of that. Yeah.
Okay. My next question is, do you have any experience with directness in verbal communication among your colleagues? If you do, can you share with us?
Okay. In terms of directness, yeah. Being in RMC, okay, at my working place for the past 22 years, um, this is something that we cannot avoid. Okay, having that kind of directness, okay, having that kind of gesture, when we are not happy about something, we couldn't help it. Okay, it is actually shown clearly on our face. Like we used to say, action speaks louder than words. We don't need words to say anything, but our expression would say it all. Okay, so that I would say directness. Okay, and personally, I feel that when we are lack of control, okay, when we can't think uh, correctly, okay, in that particular moment, okay, we tend to have that kind of expression. It's kind of normal among human beings actually to have that kind of expression because we are not happy about something, dissatisfaction especially, but we'll try to make it up because having that kind of directness or facial expression which doesn't convey a good idea can be not good, okay, for the environment, okay, because when we work at a certain place, okay, we need to have that kind of joyful or good ambience, okay. The vibe must be good, okay, working with your colleague, and I'm sure you as student as well, okay, you need to have that kind of vibe. If any of you have this kind of directness, okay, not happy, okay, and then it is shown clearly on your face, okay, it will not be, you will feel that kind of uncomfortable feeling. And then you try to make it up as much as possible, or maybe one of you try to apologize or try to make it up, okay, for your mistake. Mistake can be, sometimes is something that you don't plan and it happened unintentionally. Okay, so the best thing for a human being, okay, is come to it and realize the mistake and try to apologize. Yeah,
Right.
that would be my opinion.
I see. Okay, Madam Intan, my last question is, how do you adjust your communication style when
Mhm.
interacting with colleagues who are more or less direct than you are?
Okay, in terms of my colleague, okay, since I'm quite a senior teachers in school, okay, we do have this kind of differences in terms of communication. Okay, and then but I try to treat everyone fairly. Okay, I have a teachers or colleague who is younger than me, and the level of communication might be a little bit different. Okay, but in terms of communication, I believe that it should be a two-way communication. That you shouldn't put any barrier actually, even though the person is younger than you, or even the person is older than you. Of course, the older people than you, okay, should be respected, but I would say that it should be a mutual communication, a mutual understanding, a mutual respect among your colleague, especially. It doesn't matter whether she is younger than you or he is older than you. I think everyone deserves to have that kind of respect, okay? And then it will be a good ambience, okay, if we can actually, have a good interaction between one another. Yeah.
I see. Thank you so much, Madam Intan. I will pass to my partner.
Thank you.
Hi, so I'll be asking a few questions for you. So, for the first question is that as a teacher, I believe that you will be mingling around with Malay, Indians, or even Chinese students. So, have you noticed any differences in how Indian, Chinese, or even Malay students respond to the classroom discussion or group activities? And if so, how do you manage the way that they answer for the question that you have been asked in the past?
Okay, thank you for the question. Okay, based on my experience, okay, because I'm currently teaching a DLP class, therefore I have a multiracial students in my class. I have Chinese, Malay, Indian as well. In fact, I also have a Sarawakian and Sabahan. So in terms of getting feedback and response, uh, I try to make it how to say because these people they are very competent in their language. So in terms of feedback or responses, okay, there's not much differences. Okay, and then when we or I conduct classroom activities or having a discussion with them, normally the feedback was really good because maybe the competency of the language itself, so they are able to respond well. Okay, in term of all, okay, whether it's Malay, Chinese or Indian, okay, I have a good feedback. Okay, they are very responsive. Okay, they are very active. Okay, they participate in almost every activities or discussion held in the classroom. So basically, it was a good outcome for the students in my class. This is in the context of my classroom. Okay, because they are in the good class. Okay, but for the other classes as well, okay, normally I will try to adapt to the situation. If let's say they're streaming or more to the more competent, okay, maybe the track is faster. Okay, the teaching lesson is different. If let's say I am teaching in the different classes, okay, which is consists of the weaker student, then the approach must be a little bit different. Okay, so you need, as a teacher, personally for myself, okay, I need to adapt to my student in terms of the lesson plan, in terms of the teaching, in terms of the communication, because I do believe that everyone deserves to have a good lesson. Okay, nobody should be left behind, and everybody should get, to score for a good result at the end of the day. That's all.
Okay, I see. So you have mentioned that in your classroom that they have different approach when they want to answer your question, right?
Yes.
So uh, uh, in your experience with your observation, so how do these kids like Indian, Chinese, and Malay approach the problem solving
Mm-hmm.
in collaborative settings, and how do you ensure that their approaches complement each other?
Well, when they are seated in a group, okay, I will not allow them to sit in their own clan or maybe in their own race. Okay, so they are actually placed in a different, which means that the background is different. Chinese, Malay, and Indian. Let's say we are conducting a group activities. Okay, no doubt. Okay, in the group, okay, we do have students who is a bit on the weaker side. Okay, more how to say advanced. Okay, so upon assigning okay any activities, normally those they will actually help one another. Okay, so that's why we actually come up with a buddy system. Okay, this buddy system means that they will actually lead his friend who is a bit on the weaker side so that they can actually come up with a good production of the assignment given to them. So at the end of the day, okay, they actually managed to come up with a good presentation, okay, whatever, given to them. So I did not see any problem so much, okay, as long as they are able to communicate with one another, okay, whether they are Malay, Chinese or Indian. So basically, the bottom line is that they need to be forced to speak willingly as well. Okay, so that they are happy. I mean, if you force them to speak and then they are not responsive, okay, it can be quite an issue. So we try to use an approach, okay, saying that okay, how important is English in the long run? Okay, how important is English, okay, to be master, okay, for communication, speaking, and writing. So they actually manage to gauge all these skills, gradually, okay, with the help of their colleagues in the classroom, not colleagues, classmates in the classroom. That's how I do things in my class. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So can you share an example of a conflict between students from different cultural backgrounds that you had to address? And what approach did you take to resolve the conflict that happened in your class?
Okay, for the cultural background, since we have a lot of students from different background actually. As I told you before, we have Sabah, we have Sabahan, okay, and then we also like the Chinese, Indian, also they have a different background, okay, and then in terms of accent as well, okay, if you were talking, if I were to um, discuss about the class in the, I mean, the DLP class, for instance, okay, I wouldn't have so much problem when it comes to communication. But if I were to go to another different class, okay, means that on the weaker competency, okay, I have to deal with the accents, okay, or maybe the slang, okay, because we're talking about the cultural background, okay, because some of them, okay, they have this kind of how to say they're not confident. They don't have that kind of confidence to speak because of their cultural background. Okay, some of them don't even speak English at all. Okay, even if they were to speak the language, okay, they are struggling because of maybe they are from Kelantan. Okay, for instance. Okay, and then they barely speak the language. Again, maybe the way they speak consists of the accent or the slang of the Kelantanese. Okay, so how I deal with this kind of a predicament is I try to bring everyone, okay, in the same group, okay, and then I will just like give an assignment, okay, and then maybe a topic, okay, and then ask them to discuss among themselves, okay, and then ask them to present in class, okay, and then from there we can see how they can actually, speak gradually, okay. And these kids needs to be polished from time to time actually when it comes to the different cultural background. Okay, we cannot just settle the problem in the glimpse of immediate. Okay, it will take a longer time compared to the DLP classes. Okay, because these kids are from different background. So a lot of effort need to be placed, okay, to help these students so that they can actually overcome that kind of accent, okay, how to make sure that they are confident when it comes to speaking in the public or maybe even writing itself, okay. So basically, okay, all these things need to be practiced from time to time, and they need to be told, okay, maybe they need to be given a lot of encouragement, okay, to speak, so that they can have that kind of they are able to come forward and present on their own later on.
So, based on your experience just now,
Mm.
how did you ensure that the resolution that you made not only addressed the conflict but also promoted mutual understanding and respect between the students itself?
Okay. This is the thing. Okay, when we talk about English language, okay, there's always what we call the stigma, okay, of the language itself. Okay, when you learn about the second language, okay, we always as if we are like trying to look good. Okay, it's a mentality. I would say it's a mentality, especially among the, sorry to say, maybe among our people as well. Okay, that's why I always encourage. Okay, having a culture, different culture background, because in the sense that I do believe, okay, having a different background, okay, they are able to speak better or communicate better. But let's say they are in just in one. Okay, this is a bit sensitive to mention. Okay, if let's say we, okay, let's say we are in the same class, all Malay, okay, so the progress is not going to be that well, okay, because they don't have that kind of encouragement to speak. If let's say they are stranded, okay, with the different background as in Chinese, Malay, or even Sabah and Sarawakian, these kids will actually speak the language, okay, and they have this kind of courage to speak, okay, even though it's a broken language, okay, they still speak among themselves. But when it comes to all same races, same race, okay, in the classroom, the temptation is not there, the passion to speak is not there. They are more comfortable to speak the native language, their mother tongue. So English doesn't really progress that well compared to those in the multi background, okay. So I would say it's the mentality of our people who keep on assuming, okay, when we speak the language, okay, it's more like showing off. But actually, it's not. I always tell my student in school, in the long run, okay, even though English is a second language, okay, it will be the most important language in the future as later on, okay, when they want to pursue their studies in the university, okay, the lecture will be in English, okay, the reference book will be English, okay, and then even during the interview will be conducted in English. So there will, I hope, by inculcating all these things, okay, they will be able to uh, come to the senses, knowing that English is very important in the long run. It doesn't stop until they leave the school until Form 5. Okay, so that would be the challenges. Okay, having a different or maybe different classes, of children or students in the class. Yeah.
Okay. So for the next question, uh, in the light of the social norm differences that you have observed, have you encountered any like instances where that the different cultural background between the Malay, Chinese, and Indian students is different from yours, especially especially when your school is celebrating uh New Year's Eve or Chinese New Year, or even for our culture is Hari Raya Aidilfitri. So what's your opinion about that?
What was the question again?
Have you noticed or observed any instances where
Mm-hmm.
the differences between the Malay,
Indian.
Chinese, and also Indian students
Mm-hmm.
is different in terms of the tradition or cultural background, especially when you have like a festive at your school.
Mm-hmm.
So have you encountered any differences? Like for us, we celebrate Hari Raya Aidilfitri, right?
Mm-hmm.
So have you like, is there any differences between the Chinese student when they celebrate Chinese New Year, or when they celebrate Hari Raya, no, Deepavali?
Um, how do I address that? We are living in a multiracial country. Okay, if you ask me personally, I would celebrate all. Okay, and knowing me, okay, I'm a kind of I don't have that kind of yeah. It's Hari Raya. It's just Hari Raya. Okay, it's actually is all celebrations should be celebrated by all Malaysian, despite of the Chinese New Year, whether it's Deepavali, whether it's Hari Raya. The same thing goes with the other race as well. Okay, it's a mutual respect among everyone. Okay, in schools. Okay, they also know. Okay, because when it comes to celebrating other festivals, okay, yeah, it should be celebrated as it is, okay, but doesn't mean, okay, when we celebrate Chinese New Year, okay, for the non Chinese, for the Muslim, okay, we become the Chinese, for instance, okay. I think that is quite a narrow minded thoughts, okay. We should be more open, okay. Doesn't mean, I think it's all about intention. I think for the kids or for the students in school, I think they are fully aware, okay, celebrating others festival is something to be celebrated because we are living in a multiracial country. I think they have adapt, okay, to this kind of festivals, and the celebration of festivals, in school itself. Okay, they have been inculcated, their mind has been inculcated, having a different festival, which means that having a mutual respect or understanding. Okay, shouldn't have that kind of a narrow-minded things, in their mind. That's my opinion, and that is what I've seen or observed with the students in my school.
So the next question is at your workplace settings, or even when you are teaching, have you ever encountered a situation where misunderstanding or conflict arise due to misinterpreted facial expression between the students
Uh,
or even your colleagues?
uh, in terms of colleagues, I
Yeah.
mean my office mate.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh, I would be lying if I say there's no conflict happening. Okay, because it's part and parcel of life. Okay, everybody will go through that kind of conflict. Okay, at one point of time we are happy. Okay, at one point of time we are having that kind of dissatisfaction, and it is clearly shown on some people. Some people are just not good in hiding their expression. Agree? And then this kind of as we grow mature, okay, I always tell myself, okay, no matter how much that we dislike something or we're not happy about something, it's not good to put it on your face. Okay, it's good to confront. Actually, that's the best thing. Not confront in terms of having everyone in the public, but to call the person and having heart to heart talk, not having that kind of expression on your face, because it doesn't solve anything. It's going to prolong that kind of unhappiness, and the vibe of working will be so negative, and it can be prolonged, can be like months after that. And then you become uncomfortable at the end of the day working with, because you're going to bump into the same person in the office. Okay, I mean, the office is just a small space. You Anywhere you go, okay, you will actually see the same person. So if you have any dissatisfaction or maybe argument, the best thing is to actually to confront the person rather than put on your face and show directly to the person. But I do agree, okay, that kind of situation or the crisis do happen at any working place, because humans are different in our own way. We cannot be happy people all the time. There are times that we are not, or maybe feeling annoyed, okay, but this is what human all about. We are full of emotions, isn't it? Okay, at times we are happy, sometimes we are sad, sometimes we feel angry or upset. But at the end of the day, it is our call, okay, whether we want to show it on your face, on our face directly to the person, or simply just go and talk to the person saying that, oh yeah, what is the problem? Okay, how do we settle this thing? And the fact that we are all grown up, okay, we are working in the office, okay, there should be certain understanding, okay, to settle that kind of a crisis in the working place. That's my thought. Thank you.
So this is the last question for you. Since you mentioned that we're supposed to have a heart-to-heart session about the
Yes.
misunderstanding that we had due to the facial expression.
Mm-hmm.
So have you ever done that, or and if you have done the heart-to-heart session, so how does the how was the outcome?
The
The
outcome.
yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a good question actually. Well, it happened to me, it happened to everyone, it happened to you as well. Okay, because sometimes, okay, doesn't mean having that kind of face, okay, means like look is not everything, okay. The look is actually maybe some people do have that kind of certain looks on their face, but that doesn't mean who they are, okay. And we always become so judgmental, okay, upon the look of the other people, okay, without knowing what's really going on. And I think that is perfectly normal, because it could be a first impression, okay. And then judging people is pretty normal among human beings. Okay, what it happened to me before, okay. And then I did argue with my colleague before, which I feel was not my mistake, but maybe there are certain things that is not explainable, and it prolonged for a year. Okay, but the thing resolved by itself. Okay, and then I did try to apologize, okay, to that friend, okay, but unfortunately it doesn't work. So I just let it be. I let it slip because I feel it was not my mistake, okay, and I went to that person and apologized, but she seems not to respond well. But yeah, after a year, maybe she came to her senses, and we actually back together as a friend. Okay. Um, well, to ask forgiveness is not that easy to some people. Okay, because maybe they feel they are always right. Maybe because of the egocentric as well. Okay, we always get carried on with ego. It might be our mistake, but we never want to admit it. Okay, but um, as you age, okay, when you become mature, okay, you need to confess. It could be your mistake, unintentionally. It might be intention, it might be unintentionally. But if let's say it come to your sense, or maybe it might not be your problem, it might be not your, might not be how to say, your mistake. Maybe you just want to clear the air. Just talk to the person, or maybe just ask for forgiveness, and then you will settle or clear the air. I would do that because I cannot live in the environment arguing with people, having this kind of masa muka, sour face, because you will not feel happy. Even let's say you are a student, okay, in your group, because your group is not, it doesn't consist of many people, okay, it's the same person, okay, the same friends that you're going to see. So having that kind of argument, unresolved argument, it's not going to bring any goodness to everyone. Okay, so end up, okay, you will feel hurtful, and then you feel sad. So I would say the best thing, one of you need to actually reconcile, and then need to uh, talk to one another to solve the problems. Okay, but I would say when it comes to the facial expression, you have to be very careful because some people can misunderstood things easily because we tend to judge people. Human beings are full of judgments actually. When we look at someone, okay, we tend to judge, but the person is not as what we see he is. Okay, so it's better to get to know rather than jump into a conclusion.
I think that is all from both of us, me and my partner. So I want to thank you so much because you spent the time with us.
Mhm.
And we're so sorry if we are taking your time, especially on weekdays. I'm sorry, weekend. So I think that's all from me. And I
Mhm.
hope you have a good day, Madeline. Thank you so much for your.
Thank you so much for inviting me. Okay, I hope I've given a sufficient information that you needed. If anything, you can always get back to me in the future. Thank you again.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Bye.
Bye.
Welcome.